Are we in the final hours before a doomsday scenario begins? Netanyahu turns the tables on everyone. He disregards this American-Iranian agreement and gives direct orders to the army to prepare for a full-scale war against Iran without Washington's backing. Will he really do it and embark on this adventure? Today, I will reveal to you why America officially acknowledged this military attrition and what trap Iran set for Netanyahu in the Strait of Hormuz, which will change the balance of power in the region forever. We have very important details today, but after this break, stay with us. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to another session with you today, God willing, as part of the Opinion series, which we always dedicate to following the latest developments in this major global conflict taking place in the Middle East between Iran and the Epstein Alliance. And as is clear, especially in the first hours after signing this agreement, it will not end and will continue like this. That is, in a back and forth until the war breaks out again. And if this war returns, it will never be an ordinary war this time. So, dear viewers, to begin with, the meeting that was scheduled to be held today in Switzerland between the American and Iranian representatives has been cancelled. There was supposed to be a meeting, and the Memorandum of Understanding, which consists of 14 articles, was supposed to be signed in person, not just electronically as it was. And the reason, dear viewers, is these provocations by Israel, which is trying to break the ceasefire and sabotage this latest agreement. Israel is striking Lebanon again, and even more than that, today it is also planning to launch attacks on Iran. The situation is very serious. Everything could end at any moment. And just a short while ago today, the Chief of Staff of the Israeli army gave orders to the army to prepare for a possible attack on Iran, not just on Lebanon, but on Iran. This is a plan that might have been anticipated because, as everyone knows, Netanyahu cannot continue without a war. That's first. Second, he can never accept this. The agreement that was between Iran and America, in which America clearly acknowledges Iran's victory in this war, is frankly considered an insult to Israel and an insult to Prime Minister Netanyahu. But dear viewers, this Israeli provocation caused great anger on the American side, as today the US Vice President J.D. Vance came out and said it publicly. And again, if it weren't for the assistance provided by America, including military and political support and so on, Iran would have leveled all these Israeli cities to the ground. So this takes us back exactly to what I said in the previous episode. Things could escalate quickly and we might see another war in the region, but this time it would be only between Iran and Israel, without any quick support or intervention from America. And that would then be the beginning of a scenario of collapse. So the important thing is these developments that happened today, these Israeli provocations, which made the Iranian representatives postpone their visit to Switzerland, where it was expected that this agreement would be signed again in a real and practical way, as I mentioned. Awad Electroni, the foreign minister of Pakistan, the intermediary country in these negotiations, officially announced the cancellation of this meeting that was supposed to take place in the Swiss city of Geneva. So pay close attention that at the same time, Iran was putting a main condition in this agreement, which is to stop the war and the attacks on Lebanon. So today, Israel is saying that it will attack Iran on its own independently, and is giving orders to the Israeli army to prepare for that. Did the American CNN network say that? Quoting a diplomat, it said that the Iranians requested a stop to these ongoing attacks in Lebanon, according to the terms of this signed agreement, and that the mediators are now trying as much as possible to resolve this issue, but of course without any success, because Israel, frankly speaking, does not agree at all with this memorandum of understanding. It wants to make it fail and wants to put an end to this agreement, in a sense. And we started to enter, or we have actually begun to enter, a new phase of the conflict, a phase that will reveal to the whole world who controls whom. Is it really America and the American president who hold the reins in the Middle East, and that this country or this entity is just a child of America? Or is it Netanyahu and Israel who decide, who even control the decisions of the American president? Pay close attention. Israel today is boiling internally. Inside Israel, there is a wave of criticism directed at Trump and America. They have started attacking Trump and attacking America strongly after they made this deal and this agreement. That's why Jay Defense, Trump's deputy, came out to defend America and defend Trump. He said that if it weren't for America, Israel would have been completely destroyed. And he said that Trump is the only head of state in the world who still has a positive stance toward Israel. He admits that this entity has become globally rejected by all countries in the world except America. America is the only country that still cooperates with and supports this entity. Jay Defense made other very important admissions. In this statement, he said that during this latest war, America, with the money of the American people, he said that America funded 66% of the weapons used by Israel. In other words, he gave, maybe it's a real number, he provided information that was, you could say, among the secrets of this war. 66% of the interceptor missiles used in this war against the rockets, the guided ones, meaning against Israel, were American missiles. This brings us much closer to understanding the scale of America's losses, or the extent of the depletion that America has suffered and is still suffering. The American stockpile of missiles, ammunition, weapons, and so on. Jay Defense also admitted that the goal of this agreement and of stopping the war is to restore the American stockpile of weapons and ammunition to the level it was at before the start of this war. So this is a clear admission, meaning that America has actually suffered a very significant depletion, making it feel that there is a great danger threatening it if this war continues for more days, or if America enters another military conflict. And it is also an admission that perhaps after restoring this stockpile again, America might return to war again at that time. G Defense also admitted that America also does not want to keep this aircraft carrier there in this region. That means if Iran imposed as a basic condition in this agreement the withdrawal of American forces from the region, he admitted that even America actually wants that. It wants to withdraw this aircraft carrier from there. And this also raises a lot of questions. Why is that? Why do they want that? Is it because it actually suffered damage, which requires it to undergo repairs, or is it because it has become more threatened due to the recent Iranian missile developments we've seen? Meaning, is there no longer a reason for it to stay in the region, otherwise it could sink at any moment from one of the Iranian missiles? Or is there another reason? The important thing is that he admitted that America doesn't want these aircraft carriers to remain there in the region near Iran, because things have truly become very complicated for America. And this really brings us closer to the scenario I presented to you in the previous episode. The new thing today was that there was a Chinese reaction this time, a bitter Chinese response to this Israeli recklessness, or towards this obstruction that Israel is carrying out now. In an attempt to break this memorandum of understanding, the Chinese foreign minister issued a warning to Israel, saying that this stage requires the concerned parties, including Israel, to make more efforts to support this signed agreement, not the opposite, not to break this agreement or to nullify it. China confirmed that its relationship with Iran has a strategic dimension, that Iran is a comprehensive long-term strategic partner and that it is committed to deepening this partnership. And this statement means that some of the recent rumors were false, which suggested that the relationship between China and Iran was no longer as it was, or that there was tension, or that China had abandoned Iran, or anything of that sort. So the Chinese foreign minister denied it. He conveyed all of that in this statement, in which he confirmed the strength and solidity of the partnership that connects his country with Iran, and it's a message that came at a very appropriate time. That means, in order to further strengthen this victory that Iran has achieved, not only on the military level but also on the diplomatic level. There was a statement by the former US National Security Advisor John Bolton, where he said that this agreement that was signed hands over the Strait of Hormuz to Iran, meaning it gives Iran the right to control this strait however it wants. And this is a clear fact, because if we read one of the clauses in this agreement that talks about the Strait of Hormuz, we find that it clearly obligates Iran to keep the Strait of Hormuz open without imposing fees. But only for 60 days. This is written. I mean, it's documented in one of the clauses. This agreement is only for 60 days, meaning only for the duration of these negotiations that will continue. And it clearly indicates that after 60 days, Iran, in partnership with the Sultanate of Oman, will have come up with the new law that will be imposed on the Strait of Hormuz, which will definitely mean imposing fees on ships. Even the American President Trump might be taking advantage of this clause, but honestly, the clause is strange. In his recent statements, he says that the agreement guarantees the full opening of the Strait of Hormuz without imposing any fees. But he doesn't say that this is only for 2 months. He doesn't say that this is only for the next 60 days. So this is for everyone to know. I mean, it's the best agreement. I mean, it was possible for Trump, as everyone saw, 2 months. And he is trying to get any concession from Iran regarding these terms, but without any success. He made military attempts, he made diplomatic attempts, and to no avail. In the end, he was the one who gave in to Iran's conditions. So this is just part of the Iranian victories that were clearly evident in this agreement. There is a statement by the US Special Envoy for Middle East Affairs, Ambassador David Hill, in which he said something very important. He said that the next 60 days, during which negotiations will take place over the Iranian nuclear program, are absolutely not enough to reach a result. And this is also a fact. Pay close attention that reaching this memorandum of understanding that was signed took more than 60 days of back and forth. So how could there possibly be an agreement on the Iranian nuclear program? I mean, it's the most complicated negotiation, the most complex issue in these talks. For that to happen in just 60 days, it's certain that after 60 days, the negotiation period will be extended for more weeks or even months. Meanwhile, Iran will have benefited a lot from this memorandum of understanding, and it will have started imposing fees on the passage of the ships in question, because this grace period of 60 days will have ended. But of course, we're talking about the scenario of this truce continuing, and that has probably become impossible today because of these Israeli provocations. The war on Lebanon hasn't stopped up to this moment. There is still shelling, and there are still Israeli military operations in Lebanon. Even when sometimes statements come out saying that an agreement has been reached and the attacks on Lebanon will stop and so on, just a few hours later we see an escalation in Lebanon. Things might develop into a war between Iran and Israel. This time Trump won't be able to enter this war. I mean, if that happens, Trump won't be able to enter this war, defending Israel's interests and destroying American interests in the region. Because, as I told you in the previous episode, there is now an intersection of interests between America and Israel. Therefore, we will see. There will be another war this time, a different one, if it starts between Iran and Israel. And maybe it will really be the beginning of the end, but we will see how things develop in the coming hours. Will Netanyahu continue this escalation? How will Iran react? How will Trump react as well? All of these are events we will be watching in the coming hours. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. See you next time.